Good afternoon and welcome to the next episode of Stand Up for Jehovah. Now, today I'd like to talk to you about spanking. It was a big issue in the 1970s, and just to start this discussion off, I'd like to read you a scripture, ex-brothers and sisters. It's in the book of Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 32, and it says, "Brothers and sisters, beat the holy crap out of your children, and you will be viewed as righteous by the other people in the congregation. Beat them with a stick, beat them with a belt, hit them with your hand if there's nothing else to hand, and you will find that they will grow up in the way that you have brought them up in." Now, I think that's a really important scripture, and it was one that all the dads in my congregation took very, very seriously when I was a child. And, you know, spanking kind of put you in a hierarchy, right? The dads, they were in some kind of spanking competition with each other. And the ones that spanked the hardest or the longest or the most frequently earned brownie points. And the great spankers got promoted to be elders. The brothers that didn't spank at all, well, they were very, very weak. So my dad was fairly good at spanking. He became an elder. He wasn't at the top of the spanking tree. He never hit the very dizzy heights of the hardest, the longest, the most frequent spanker. But he was a regular spanker. And his spankings did result in howls from the toilets, from myself, of course, that other children could hear. That was kudos. The very top spanker was Louise and Gillian's dad. He spanked. He spanked hard, he spanked long, he spanked regularly. Boy, did he spank. Some people's dads didn't spank at all, and quite frankly, they were really weak. I could barely bring myself to associate with them. They never got spanked. It was disgusting. The only person that I didn't mind not getting spanked, nobody minded her not getting spanked, was Sarah. Sarah was pretty girl. Very pretty girl. Long blonde hair, very gentle, had a real Christian voice, like a little ballerina type, dolly type character. Nobody could have spanked Sarah. Sarah's dad didn't spank, but he was still an elder. Go figure. So spanking was a great source of amusement. The main thing about spanking was that if somebody got taken out of the hall, every other kid in the hall would give a silent prayer of thanks. Thank you, Jehovah, thank you that it's not me this time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then you'd hear the thwack and the howl, and then the child would be brought back in. Now, here's what I don't get about spanking. My dad used to take me out of the hall and spank me. He used to take me into the toilets. There were two options, actually, with spanking. You could go to the toilets, you could go to the back room. They were at opposite sides of the hall. But the toilets were near to the outside door, which meant that if the howls got truly horrific, you could take the child outside so that, I don't know, nobody phoned the social workers. Although we didn't have mobile phones then, so what did it matter? Anyway, toilets was the place of choice for spanking. And here's the reason why. My friend Nigel got taken out and spanked once, and he threw up. No kid, I am shitting you not, he threw up. It was beautiful. We heard the whole kind of, no, we didn't hear him throwing up, but we kind of heard the, oh, and the, ooh, and then the whispers as we came back in. Oh, it was great. My dad used to take me out and spank me. He used to hit me, and then I'd cry, and then he used to say, "If you don't stop crying, I'm going to leave you here." Now, the toilets, when I was very small, were down like a really long corridor. It twisted and turned. It was about 3 miles long. There were no lights in it at all. I'm thinking Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom type thing. It was a corridor like that. So he'd take me down the long corridor. It took us maybe, I don't know, half an hour to get to the actual toilets in the dark. Spank me. I'd cry, as you do, and then he'd say, "If you don't stop crying, I'm going to leave you here." And I used to think, in between the hiccups, but surely that's the point of spanking. Surely spanking is meant to make you cry. So now that I'm crying, which is what you wanted, why are you telling me to stop crying? I didn't understand it at all. What I did understand was that very shortly I'd be taken back inside into the hall, and I'd have to do that noise. It was the noise that every spanked child made when they came back into the hall and sat down. And so you'd sit still for a little while, and then maybe you'd do the thing that you'd been spanked for again, and maybe you'd be taken out again. I don't know, you know, like double spank in one meeting. That was hardcore. I mean, come on, hardcore, spanked twice in one meeting. So it was fairly common. Spanking was quite funny, and the best spanking, as in the very fucking worst spanking I can ever remember, was just before I was age 16. And at this point it kind of leaves the realm of spanking and turns into the realm of slightly fucking weird. It's when I was 15, I had quite long hair, long, beautiful Christian hair. I was very Christian. And at 15 I went to the hairdressers and I got all my hair cut off, quite short, kind of like this side here, okay, all the way around. And it was sort of not shaved, because that would be like a boy, but short. And when I got home, my dad just went off on one because I'd had a haircut like a boy. And he said to me, "You're not too old to be spanked." And then he bent me over and spanked me. Yeah. And that's what I felt for the next few years, like, sweet fucking Jesus alive, is that normal? And my hair didn't grow any quicker for the spanking, so I'm not quite sure what the point of it was, but there you go. That was my last proper spanking, so I remember it with fondness, really, because, you know, it's like having your last baby, isn't it? You think, I'm never going to have another one, and this is quite sad, really. And after that spanking, it's like, oh, I'm never going to be spanked again. But that's not true, because actually, when you grow up... Anyway, that's another video, and I just wonder if, you know, I don't enjoy it a bit too much.